What we discovered is that obviously e-commerce is absolutely booming. So compared to pre-COVID, at the start of the pandemic, 90% of consumers are now shopping online, where it was 70% prior. So that is just absolutely insane that it's close to 100% of consumers that are purchasing products from brands are purchasing them online.
Like, we started selling this product out of the trunk of our cars.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Inventory management is about balance.
Get the product out. That's number one.
I've always preached sustainable growth.
So we just started building community.
Look at the data.
Product development is everything.
Yeah, we say we're a brick, click, and pop.
But you have to love what you do.
Switch gears a little bit and talk email marketing now, which I know is everybody's favorite topic. I actually really like it. I think it's such an effective way for e-commerce. So we have Lizzie from Klaviyo up next. Klaviyo is really our go-to email marketing software. It's the one we use. And with our clients, their monthly revenue, probably about 30 to 40% on average, comes just from emails, which goes to show you how effective email marketing can be when you do it correctly. And as I mentioned earlier, Lizzie was also with us on our first inaugural virtual meetup. So I'm so excited to bring you back for this one because it's a big one. Lizzie, I'll let you introduce yourself and I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. And thank you so much for inviting me back. It's always such a reassuring thing when you get invited back on a panel because that means you didn't screw up the first time. So I'm very happy to be back. For those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Lizzie Nirenberg. I oversee agency partner marketing at Klaviyo. I have the pleasure of working with our incredible agency partners like Socialite and making sure that brands are achieving their growth goals with both, their agency they're working with, as well as the technologies across their entire tech stack. So for those of you who don't know Klaviyo, as Ivana had so graciously introduced, we specialize in our bread and butter is email. We also have SMS, on-site forms, segmentation, analytics, but we really like to think of it as we're the one marketing platform that grows with brands from day one, as you launch your Shopify store all the way up until, the Kylie Cosmetics of the world and billion-dollar brands. So all features and functionality in the platform are the same, whether you're on a free plan of up to 250 contacts or when you're on the highest plan. So love working with the breadth of different types of brands, and it's awesome to be working in e-commerce in general. So what I wanted to talk about today is kind of building off of what Marco was just talking about, is what the impact of this year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going to be. So what's going on right now in the e-commerce landscape from beginning of the year in 2020, what our predictions are. So we have some pretty bold predictions for this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then I will leave you with a couple of tips for how to prepare. And then I told Ivana that I would send the slides afterwards because I had to cut all of the meat slides of direct tips of what you can actually do. So I will send out the PDF afterwards of some key strategies to try out. So e-commerce 2020, it's been crazy. But before COVID happened, e-commerce has been on this steady growth path of around 15% per year, year over year. So if we're applying the same, calculations, 2020 e-commerce sales were expected to reach just shy of $700 billion. Well, as we all know, in March, stores closed down, COVID hit, everyone went on lockdown, and everyone really shifted to online shopping. Even those that weren't comfortable with online shopping before, online shopping has become their primary source of, doing business and commerce. So as a result, we did a lot of research over the time, and the last time I was presenting was strictly about the Black Friday and these COVID data that we were doing, but we launched 2 different surveys, one for brands, one for consumers. And then we also looked across, our over 43,000 customers and tried to mine some data over what's going on in their business and what can other brands be learning from it so they can prepare for what's next. And of course, we all know the most thing that we can predict is that everything is unpredictable right now. But what we discovered is that obviously e-commerce is absolutely booming. So compared to pre-COVID, at the start of the pandemic, 90% of consumers are now shopping online, where it was 70% prior. So that is just absolutely insane that it's close to 100% of consumers that are purchasing products from brands are purchasing them online. And we don't think that that's going to stop yet. So one of our first really big predictions is that e-commerce sales are going to hit $1.1 trillion, which is drastically different than the close to $700 billion. We have several reasons for why we're predicting that, and I will go through those drivers as well. But even more than just the overarching e-commerce sales for the year, we feel that Cyber Weekend could produce close to $51 billion. That is absolutely insane. Historically, it's been just shy of 5% of total e-commerce sales, but we're predicting that this year's Cyber Weekend is going to be even bigger than next year. So the reason why, I'm preaching when we're trying to preach this is that now is the time to be preparing for this year, because it is going to be so impactful compared to even next year. And let's take a step back there. No one predicted murder hornets coming, or that there's going to be all these hurricanes, and who knows what else 2020 has up their sleeves. So could our predictions be off? Absolutely. We are not perfect. These are all just shot in the dark. But we do have reason based off of some calculations of why we think this is going that direction. So with that, the key drivers and what we're looking at for why this is changing the behavior of what's going on right now. So first, online is the new normal. We all kind of understand that. We know that a lot of people have shifted to online, but we don't see this going back anytime soon. I think everyone has gotten used to having this convenience and the connection of shopping directly from brands. Even those in different generations that had previously not wanted to shop online, they're now moving online and feeling comfortable doing so. The other thing is, the ongoing first wave and second wave of COVID, especially in the States. I know Canada is in a different place because you guys take things a little more seriously. But it's nobody knows what's going to happen next. So especially in the US, and I know that, Walmart and Best Buy and all these big box stores have said that they're shutting down. They're just going to continue. It's going to continue to upend our lives. The other thing that people aren't talking about too much, although it has been in the headlines about, department stores giving some retail space to Amazon and, sharing some of their space for the inventory. But department stores are having a really hard time with their inventory right now. It's not moving. They're not set up with the same D2C as our Shopify stores are. So they're dealing with a lot. And so they're flying under the radar, and they're doing a lot more sales up front. Discounts that were once reserved for Cyber Weekend are now going to be appearing earlier and earlier. I think I was reading an article the other day that most people think that Cyber Weekend sales are going to start as early as Halloween, which is just absolutely insane. That's like when you start seeing Halloween decorations, in the middle of summer. But it's true, and it's happening, and they're happening sooner than ever. And then once again, we think that this year is going to be larger than next year because it's going to shift. Like right now, even if stores are open, they're most likely going to be shopping online versus in store. It's already started to make that shift over the past few years, but this year especially. And then next year, as stores open back up, unsure if it's going to be the same. We don't know, but regardless, all this to say, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going to be the biggest year ever. And another key driver that we found from our 2019 Black Friday, Cyber Monday information from our customers is that 60% of sales from our customers, from our brand's customers, happened from contacts that had engaged with the brand prior to Q3 of that same year. So what that means is that somebody came in, the brand had engaged with them, they're sending emails to them, that contact had either purchased from them, clicked an email, opened the email at a minimum, and they were more than half likely to purchase from that brand again on Cyber Weekend. So what does that really mean is that as all of this traffic from this year, because as we know, there's been such an influx of new spending that has come into brand stores compared to repeat spending, In fact, 46% of consumers from our survey had said that they're engaging with new brands. So almost half of those consumers that were taking our survey said that they were engaging with new brands. Is that there's such an opportunity for you to look at those contacts that had come in the influx of what was going on in quarantining and lockdown, and creating those valuable relationships to be able to propel you forward and have the most successful year yet. And just to kind of go back to email as a channel, because there are so many channels that you can be engaging your contacts with, but email has been insanely successful, especially since COVID has hit. Everybody is in front of their laptops, but people seem to be more open to accepting these emails than ever before. So in a whole, 86% email revenue is up 86% compared to pre-COVID time. So that is money in a brand's pocket, which is just absolutely insane. But on top of that, it's also open rates are up 22%, click rates are up 43%, and then per recipient revenue is up 60%. So although brands are sending more emails, it seems that the consumers are more open to accepting those more emails. So all great news. Wanted to leave with before I do that, I don't know if Socialite had planned this, but it is exactly 100 days from today until Black Friday, Cyber Weekend, until Black Friday. So perfectly planned, but this is a reminder that now is the time to be planning. Now is the time to be testing out your strategies. September is your key month to be trying out all of those things that you maybe want to try in the holiday season that you wouldn't be able to once you're in the thick of it. So I will repeat, it is 100 days until Black Friday, so now is the time to plan. So 6 key steps, and again, I will send out the actual tactics that you could be taking. But the first one is to look back at your 2019 performance. If you're a new brand, totally understand. Look at the beginning of the year. Look at what the benchmarks are for the other brands in your industry. And be sure to take stock of your inventory. We've talked a lot about, fulfillment and shipping and getting inventory. So that obviously is going to influence what you should be setting your goals at. But be sure to be setting yourself a goal for this year and make sure that it's something that is attainable. Focus on growing your audience. So as Marco had pointed out in the last presentation, make sure that your on-site optimizations are there for collecting information and making sure that those who do come to your site, you're capturing their data. But then also re-engaging contacts, as I had mentioned, those who did come in, in Q2 or Q1, you want to make sure that they continue to remember who you are. Maybe they made a one-time purchase. Maybe they don't know all of your offerings, but make sure that you're talking with them. If you're going through the typical sunsetting timeline, around Black Friday is when, around 6 months, is when you'd probably be moving somebody over from the engaged to unengaged category. So try to keep things going and see if they can bite and you can prove to them why they should be building a relationship with you. And on top of that, you should be then looking at your core marketing segments. So you're recently engaged by 30 days, 90 days, your VIP customers, so those that frequently, recently, and spend a lot of money with you. You should also be looking at those that, they do buy from you, but maybe they only look at sales. And so looking at what types of audiences you're working with and whether or not it warrants having a personalized experience. So like if you're a makeup company and you have 100 different shades of foundation, you probably don't want to be building out marketing experiences for every single shade of makeup, but you may want to create a scale of, fair skinned or medium skinned or dark skin tones. So that way you can create, personalized imagery and different types of experiences for those audiences. So just one example there. 4, you're going to want to be looking at your email deliverability. So this is the under the hood type of thing that no one talks about often enough, but you do not want your emails to be going to the spam folder when it matters the most. So you want to be getting an open rate average above 20% before you start doing any broad-based list sends. If you are doing a large list send where just batch and blast to every single person on your list, your open rates are going to be really low, especially if you're sending it to those that aren't engaged or haven't shown interest. So this is when you want to be testing out small batch emails, sending emails to recently engaged, building up your reputation, making sure that you don't skip over the inbox. 5, optimize a website experience. Marco touched on this a lot, but site speed, reviews, your product images, make sure you're clear with your shipping expectations, have a clear return policy, just making sure that there's no reason why somebody would come to your site and then just bounce. And then lastly, near and dear to my heart is the revisiting the automations and making sure that you're testing. Like I said, September is the best time to be testing out different ideas, your subject lines, test out the discounts that you're going to run, test out free shipping versus, getting to a certain amount. So there's so many things. And then also be thinking about your send times. As there's older generations that are now shopping online, their bedtime or their wake up time may be different, and they may be opening their emails at different times. So test out different scenarios and see what works best. And then finally, just leaving you with the last kind of wise words of wisdom. Consumers are favoring brands that do more than just sell them a product. They want to connect with you because those personal connections matter. They don't want to just be buying from Joe Schmo anymore. They want to trust you. They're buying directly from you. They want to make sure it's a good quality product. And they want to make sure also that the marketing experiences they're receiving on the other end are quality experiences, because those personal connections matter, and they end up leading to these relationships that actually play out longer term than continuously acquiring new customers. When you have a relationship, you can continuously count on them as recurring revenue. And Klaviyo does a great job of being able to take all of your customer data, make it actionable, make it super easy to understand who your customer is and how to target them in the way that they want to be targeted. And then, we work with all of the great different platforms like the Privies, like the Okendos or the reviews platform that we had talked about before, and making it super easy to have a seamless experience. If you're interested, Klaviyo.com. And then if you want to learn more about the predictions, you can visit our blog. But like I said, I will make sure that I send out all the slides so that all of this information can be easily digested. And it's not just me going through at 1,000,000 miles per hour.
I'd like to say that the 100 days thing was planned, but it was not. But good to know.
Yes,
100 days, nice number. There was a lot of zeros on the screen when you were showing those numbers. I don't know if you saw it. My mouth actually dropped on a couple of them because I was like, "That's crazy." I just noticed your shirt too, which is like,
oh yes.
Thank goodness, yes, because everybody pronounces it their own way, so now there's no confusion. It's Klaviyo.
That's what happens when you have a company name that is made up, but it's a great name. But yes, the phonetic spelling is Klaviyo for anyone who did not know, but I have heard every single possible option, so do not be embarrassed if you have tried them.
Nice. Okay, so I just have a couple of quick questions for you that popped up while you were talking, so I think we can just answer them now because they're kind of tie in. Jared says they have a pizza restaurant store as a customer, and they're already set up 3 email flows: a thank you letter, a form welcome, and an abandoned cart. He's asking what other flows would be a must to escalate. Right now they're generating 10% revenue through Klaviyo.
Ooh, let's see. I mean, you have your main ones. I would say that, like, thinking about your welcome flow. So thinking about how they come in, if they purchased the first time, if they just signed up for emails, if they're interested in discounts. So that's definitely a great flow. And I would be testing out. I think that one of the things with automations that people don't necessarily pay the most attention to, and this is, the best part of automations is the idea that you're driving revenue while you're sleeping, but make sure that you're testing out different ways of engaging. So it's not just every single person gets the same flow. So if somebody is a frequent flyer at your restaurant and they're spending a lot of money, you may want to be giving them in a different abandoned cart than somebody that has just abandoned cart for the first time. Or if they've abandoned a cart before, you probably don't want to be continuing to give them a discount over and over again, because then you're going to just be discount happy and they're going to get to expect that. So I would suggest starting with your 3 main flows and building off of that to make sure that the experience that you're creating is going to be different. And like, maybe you have, one person that likes the most toppings in the world, and then you have somebody that has always ordered just a plain cheese pizza. You may want to be sending campaigns that are also different too. So I would say to really be thinking about how you're personalizing the experience based off of the customer data that you do have. That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah. And then Ives is just asking if you have any tips for effective tactics to re-engage customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So one cool feature about Klaviyo that I personally love that I think is an overlooked feature is the custom properties button or updating profile properties via buttons. So you can have a button in an email. Let's say if we're using the pizza restaurant example, you could have, do you like breadsticks or do you like, a side salad? And then you could ask them, in the email, like, which one do you prefer, and kind of engaging them that way. And when they click on a button, if they click on it, hopefully, then you're also not only directing them to the page that maybe they, preferred, but they can also tag the profile so that next time you're sending out a sale or you're sending out imagery in a campaign, you can tailor it to those specific attributes that they designated themselves. So that's a great way. I think that, sales are always a good way of kind of engaging. Also, I found that just personal emails from the CEO, I know, like, I personally purchased some vitamins from Love Wellness, which is a low Bosworth. I don't know if anyone else watched.
I did
back in the day.
The Hills.
Yeah, exactly. So I got like a personal email. It's like an email from Low Bosworth, and it was like, oh, that's really cool. And like, I think that sometimes the plain text emails can also just help to engage with customers and show them why they should revisit you as a brand and what you're all about. So it could be, what your mission is or like what you value. But that's another great way to kind of cut through the noise as well. And just kind of like, number one, asking the customer what they care about and what their motivations are. And then number two, showing them and proving to them why they should care about them. Yeah.
Totally. I really like that CEO idea. I think that's like, if you see like somebody's that, their name pop up in your inbox, yeah, you're going to want to open that.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lizzie. I don't see any other email related questions right now. So if anything else pops up, people can put it in the chat and we can address it there.
Awesome.
But thank you so much.
Oh, wait, I think there's one more. Is there any value
for Jonathan? Oh yeah. Jonathan's asking, is there any value in sending emails that are intentionally plain text? Does the simplicity of them have intrinsic uniqueness that works, or are visually appealing emails the only way to go these days?
There's actually a lot of value of having a plain text email. I think that it cuts through the noise a lot of times. There's sometimes like if you're watching TV and all of a sudden there's just like a silent commercial or like one noise and it's just a white screen or something like that, that always breaks through what's already going on. It also helps if you do, the litmus test of, looking at how many the text to imagery ratio. If you have too many images, it's going to likely be moved over to the spam folder. So that's something you always want to be looking out for as is. But I do think that, I wouldn't say every single email you send should be plain text, because I do think that you want to capture your branding and you want to have a seamless experience from the emails that you send to your website experience. If you have a mobile app or you have SMS or anything like that, you want to make sure that everything you're doing kind of corresponds with each other. But I do think that every so often it is nice to like have a personalized, like, this isn't a sale, I'm not talking about a discount, like this is just talking about the brand and things that I think you should know about. But I would save it for, something that's special.
Awesome. All right. I don't see anything else popping up right now. So again, if anything else comes up, I think Lizzie, will you be in the chat for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.